All right, it's Brent Buchanan, and welcome to our new show. It's There's Always a Song, and during this show we have a guest with us during the show, and after we do a little bit of chatting back and forth, the guest will do an original song. And my guest today is Reg Gallant.
Pleased to be here.
Pleased that you're here, Reg.
Yes, great.
We're going to talk a little bit about the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame. That's coming up in just a little bit. Reg is the president of the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame. But first, let's talk about you.
Sure.
I seen you out in the parking lot, and you said you're busy, busy, busy. As we get in closer to summertime, is that the busiest time of year for you?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're busy all year round, but it tends to be like when it starts in the spring, when things start to really heat up, of course, in spring. And that tends to be when it starts to get busy. And it's not only getting gigs and doing shows and dance and other things, but now, as president of the hall, we're involved right now working on two galas at once, 24 and 25, which is going to be in the St. John area.
Yeah.
So a lot of people to meet and hands to shake and things to get done. Yeah.
When did you start music? When did you get into it? Were you were in Fredericton at one time, weren't you?
We were originally, I was born in a little village called Rexton, New Brunswick, just outside of Rishabakto.
Yeah.
All my parents and all my relatives are from the Rogersville, Rosaireville.
That's a musical.
Yes, it's a musical community and always has been. And a lot of the music, when we were all pretty poor as church mice, basically what you did is you made your own entertainment.
Yeah.
And whether that was on a Saturday evening, a bunch of friends gathering with musical instruments downstairs, they'd party till they were tired of playing, and then they'd sit around and talk. And of course, my brother and I would sneak up into the bedroom where the guitars were laying, and we'd make believe we were big stars. But
we should mention your brother Claude.
CJ,
he's a member of the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame as well, and he's known for his George Jones.
They call
songs.
him the New Brunswick Possum. Yeah,
he's big in Bucktouche.
Oh my God! Well, he was born in Bucktouche, so and that, plus I think the fact that he goes up there and they're George crazy up there. Yeah. I mean, I think it was George Jones himself that even said one time, he said, you people up here, he said. Well,
I was backstage.
The loudest crowd I ever played for.
I was backstage with George in Bangor, and he goes, "You're from New Brunswick?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm from New Brunswick." And he goes, "Anywhere as close to Bucktouche?" And I said, "Yeah, driving distance, not too awful far, a couple hours away." "Loudest place I've ever played," he said. "Loudest." I couldn't even hear myself on stage.
Yeah. Without being blasphemous, George Jones is pretty well God in Bucktouche. He can do no wrong.
No.
Everybody that grows up there that is musical knows a George Jones song.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost mandatory that you know a George.
Yeah.
Merle second.
Merle second, yeah. So you and your brother were playing with someone else's guitars, and
yeah, and that's kind of how it started. We did a lot of singing when we were younger. We didn't really. I mean, you're young, and when I'm talking young, I'm talking like 7, 8, 9 years old. And singing these country songs on my grandmother's front porch. My brother and I, and people would, be walking by and stop by to listen to us sing, and it was all a cappella. We didn't have any instruments or anything, and from there, we just kept at it and we'd sing at parties, and then we got our first real taste of playing professionally. My aunt was getting married, and she wanted a band to play for her wedding, so we threw together a band.
Yeah.
Can't even remember. I think the name of it was Lost Souls or something like that. Anyway, and we performed for their wedding, and it led to some gigs at local legions. And then from there, the rest is history. We just played all over the place.
Yeah. Now you've had lots of albums out, lots of your own albums. Cover songs and original songs. Do you still write songs? You're like you said, out in the parking lot. You're busy. Yeah. Do you write songs still to this day, or?
I get ideas, and I write the ideas down, hoping that they'll turn into a song later.
Right.
Part of the problem with me is being raised, on the older country and stuff like that, and I still have that style of writing. I still like to write tearjerkers and funny, you know, country tunes and stuff. And the country music today has evolved past that. It's almost more popish, exactly. And I find it hard to wrap my head around calling it a country song. If I'm thinking of an idea, it always goes back to that older style. You know what I mean? And so I haven't done anything in a little while. Of course, I've had some illness and stuff, and but I do have some ideas written down. So hopefully, eventually, I can get back to them. You're
gonna set some time aside.
Set some time aside, and then you see, of course, like a lot of these young fellows coming up, and this province is full of talent.
Well, I had Riley Taylor on, I mean, just a little while ago. He's very talented.
Talented and very humble. And hard to get.
And humble, too.
Humble,
very humble.
He knows where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And that's important, I think, because if you're not humble and you don't appreciate where you're from, you won't appreciate where you got to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And he's got his head on straight. He's gonna, and the Martin boys from up Woodstock.
Yeah.
And you know, then you've got gals as well. You know, like Lily Alexander and
Jessica McLaughlin.
And the young gal that we interviewed on the podcast. What's her name? From Boys Town.
From Boys Town. Yeah.
Really talented. Yeah.
Kaylee.
Yeah, something like that. Sorry about that. We appreciated her being there. We were both enthralled with her.
Super talented, and young. Like she was
16
years old.
And the poise for someone that young.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the thing. When we were that young, you know, we were told to go outside and play or go get a paper route or do something productive. You know, if you said I'm going to learn how to play a guitar, it was like, you know, you don't want to do that.
But that's, I think that's the parents sort of encouraging them, right? And backing them.
Yeah, and without being too overbearing.
Right. Yeah.
Because you want to draw that fine line where you're being supportive. But not to the point where they're going to give it up because you're being too pushy.
Exactly.
You know? So,
exactly. You're busy with the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame. Reg is the new president of the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame. Of course, Aubrey Hanson started the Hall of Fame back in 1983. Aubrey passed away, was sick and then passed away, and things were turned over to Ivan and Vivian Hicks. Ivan was the president of the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame for many years. 27,
28 years, something like that.
And then they sort of said, okay, it's time for us to back off a little bit and let someone else step into those shoes. And Reg Gallant has graciously accepted that role as president. And why did you accept that role as president? You're a busy guy. You're not young. Don't take offense to that.
No, I know. I think, well, for a couple of reasons. First off, the way it came about was a very sad and kind of tragic thing. The gentleman that was actually supposed to become the president after Ivan suffered a heart attack and had a fall. And it wasn't his heart. It was that took him away. He had a brain bleed from the fall. Bev Gaston, and very, very nice guy, and really...
And go-getter.
Go-getter, and he was really gung-ho and passionate about it, as am I. It means a lot to me because it is a regional hall, like it's the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame. It's not the Atlantic Country Music Hall of Fame or Canadian. We do have a Canadian one, but so it's our home province, and it's a way to recognize the importance of the music and the genre and what we do as musicians in New Brunswick. And it's near and dear to my heart. It really is, and I was worried that there might not be anybody to take it over, and so I stepped up to the plate, and big shoes to fill, very big.
Ivan and Vivian, they're like Starsky and Hutch or Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
they work together, and they work really well together, and they've done this for a long time.
And they have that luxury of having been able to work together. Myself and Linda Gaston, who's now Bev's wife, who's now the executive director, we live in the same area, which is good. We can contact each other a bit, but it's not like I can tap her on the shoulder across the couch and say, "What do you think of this idea?" And this probably happened quite a bit with Ivan and Vivian. You know, I'll run this one past you, Viv. What do you think of this? And So that type of thing, it's daunting.
It is. It's like you
very
said, it's
daunting.
big shoes to fill, a lot of responsibility. But you do have a board of directors, and you do have a list of members out there that are willing to help out in any way.
We do, and we've got a good board of directors. The members are all gone home. You're on it yourself, and I think it bodes well for the future of the hall. We've just got to, and it's like anything, you're going to have little bumps along the way, but we made some big progress. Where the hall is situated now, thanks to the hard work of Dwayne Drost and his team, approaching the Fredericton Motor Inn. We were able to secure a spot there, and the frames look, if you've never been to the Fredericton Motor Inn to have a look at the Hall of Fame, you should go. It's quite something.
It was in the
old Victoria Hospital.
Victoria Hospital, and it was down in the basement, and you had to go and ask the commissioner for a key, and you
Half
go
the
in.
time he didn't know where it was.
What are you talking about, Hall of Fame? But now it's right off the lobby of the Fredericton Motor Inn. They're doing some renovations up there right now, but it's right off the lobby. It's that hall, long hall. And all the framed pictures of past inductees are all there, right from Don Messer. And by the way, Don Messer was born on this date back in 1909.
1909.
Yeah, May the 9th. We're doing this on May the 9th. But all the past inductees are right there. It's a really, really great job, and it's really impressive. So next time you're up at the Fredericton Inn, go check it out.
Yeah, because I mean, it's leaps and bounds over what we had, and it's we have some interactive items going. We have a couple of TV screens that'll scroll different information and performances and stuff. So at any given time, you can watch someone on the screen. We're hoping to add to that later on with some different type things that you might be able to interact with it more. But we've grown just in the last couple of years what we've been able to achieve, and without a good board of directors and people like Dwayne and Mavis O'Donnell, we wouldn't have been able to achieve that. So we're heading in the right direction. It's just
baby steps.
Baby steps. And if anybody out there knows someone that they think is worthy of induction into the hall, by all means, you can go on the website and you can actually nominate that person, keeping in mind that you should read the protocol and the requirements. There's a list of things there. They have to be in the province, have lived in the province for X amount of years, and played music for X amount of years, and a list of achievements and things they've done. But you can nominate folks, and because we want it to be more inclusive with all the province, we encourage people from the northern part of the province all the way through. So if you're in the Bathurst area or Edmundston and you want to nominate someone, you can do that as well.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about Aubrey Hanson. Aubrey Hanson was the founder of the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame, founded that in 1983 with the help of Jerry Taylor from St. John. And so tell me about your run-ins with Aubrey.
My very first run-in with Aubrey was at a talent show. My brother and I used to enter talent shows, not because we thought we were good or anything, we just wanted to sing and get out there and do it, but we won quite a few. And one of them, one of the very first ones that we had won and had been, Aubrey had been hosting it with him and his band. And I remember him saying to me and my brother, he said, "You guys better stick with it." He said, "You guys got a good future in country music." He said, "You better stick with it." And we looked at each other and thought, like, okay. We were at that point we were doing it because we liked it, but never ever thought of doing it as a career. But he was, if you didn't know Aubrey, if at first impressions, you know how people talk about first impressions, you might have a different first impression of the man that he was, because he was very passionate about his music and about the country music and old time music at that time. and he wanted to preserve it. He wanted to find a way to preserve it, and this is why he approached Jerry Taylor, and he with the idea, and he said, you know, what do you think? Do you think this would fly? And Jerry said, well, he said, it's not going to if we don't try it.
Right, exactly.
And this is how it came about. So the very first one was in 1983, and I think if you could look back to that first one, there was apparently there was no meal. It was an induction. And,
Is that the Fredericton Raceway?
Fredericton Raceway, yeah. And if you looked at that first one and to where we were last year for our 40th anniversary gala, wow.
It's,
you know, Aubrey'd have a big grin on his face.
Oh, he would be grinning from ear to ear.
From ear to ear.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of instances like that where I remember one time he said to my brother, he said, someone else is going to have to win this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because apparently
you guys can't win anymore.
Well, we had kind of won like 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And, you know, he said, there's no doubt, he said, that what went across the stage tonight, he said, you know, you guys should win it. But he said, you know, we said, we don't care.
We're just here to have fun.
We're not here to beat anybody. We're just here to have fun and sing. And so, yeah. And then I remember one old lady said, when they announced the winner and everything, one old lady came up to Aubrey after it was done and said to him, you know, how come them Gallant boys didn't win again?
Your fan club.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. And my dad, you know, always told me, and one of the things that he taught me that kind of stuck with me, he said, don't ever think you're the best.
No.
He said, you can be good, and he said, you can be as good as others. You might be a little bit better than some others, but there'll always be someone that knows more or is better than you are.
Yeah.
So he said, don't let that get to your head, because he said, if you do, he said, one of these days you'll be bitter about it.
Yeah.
If something happens that you don't get accepted over someone else or something like that. I said, well, that's a good lesson to learn, because it's true. I mean, you know, some of these young pickers and stuff today, fantastic.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You know, it's just like they take to it like a duck to water. It's just like you know, I think they're born. The doctor gives them a slap and a guitar and says, "Here you go,
yeah,
play."
Off you go.
Yeah. So no, it's humbling, but I don't think I'd ever would have traded a minute of it. You know, and we had some gigs that were like, you know, you played in seedy bars and there's lots of times you wonder, is anybody listening? You know, because
there's a fight going on over there
in the corner, or else you walk into the bar and at 11 o'clock at night, there's 2 people sitting at a table and they're talking away and you're playing your heart out. You don't know, but you're there and you're being paid, so do it up, you know.
We should mention the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame. The gala this year, 2024, is going to be in Fredericton once again. It's at the Fredericton Motor Inn. It's all in the ballroom. The gala, the induction ceremony, the meal, and the concert afterwards. And all the past inductees get up and do a song, plus the new inductees. I want to talk a little bit about your songwriting. You should really put some time. If you've got some ideas down, you should, because you're a great songwriter. I've heard a couple of your original songs, and you're a great songwriter. You should take some time to for yourself, you know, and do some writing. What's the song that you're gonna do for us?
The song that I'm going to sing is a tune that I wrote called "Now and Then." It's about 2 people who have kind of a relationship going on. To the outside world, they're friends, but they're more than that in secret.
Okay.
And it's you hear about it all the time, like, and a lot of times you're inspired by other writers and how they write songs, or you might see something. This particular song, I happened to see a couple on the side of the street, and I'll tell you exactly where it was if I've got time. It's basically what happened. I was coming across the bridge, across the St. John River in Gemseg there, the new bridge. I came off the turnoff, and I came around the corner in Sheffield, and I was driving down towards Majorville. Yeah. And there was a car pulled over on the side, 2 cars pulled over on the side of the road, and it was a guy and a girl, and they were there, and they were meeting and talking, and you know, I was going slow enough that the gist hit me that
I
wonder if they're
hooking up.
Yeah, or if they're hooking up.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, who knows? And then I thought, well, now and then that happens, and I thought that'd be a good name for a song, right?
What's the name of the song?
It's called Now and Then.
Now and Then.
Yeah, and so I wrote the song, and when you listen to the lyrics, you'll see what it means. I had a bit of a time explaining it to my wife.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, but no, and a lot of your ideas will come that way, and sometimes they just. I had one song, the fastest song I think I ever wrote, and I always thought maybe it wasn't quite finished and I could redo it, but I've left it like it is, and I recorded it, and people seem to like it. Was a song called Hillbilly Heaven, not to be mistaken with the old. I think it was a Wilf Carter or somebody anyway had a tune called Last Night I Dreamed I Went to Hillbilly Heaven. And it's not to be confused with that one. It's a little bit different. But that one there, just, I sang it to myself on the way home, and I got home and I just penned it up and did it up. So some of them are easy, some of them not so easy. That's why I jot down little ideas and stuff. And I even have a little tape recorder sometimes. If I can think, I'll bring that along. And because if I have an idea and I go, I'm going to forget this, hit the switch, and even just the melody, if I just hum the melody, it'll come to me, kind of thing. And of course, one of my heroes, Merle Haggard.
Merle Haggard, great songwriter.
It's just incredible. It's just like some of the stuff and the way he sings, and the way, yes, George Jones is the ultimate crooner and tearjerker, but Haggard's a poet of the common man.
Exactly.
That's what he was known as, and he. I love his style. And if I could sing half as good and write half as good, I probably would have made it somewhere too. Yeah. But he gives you something to look up to.
He does, for sure. Yeah. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. He's going to strap on the guitar and play us a tune. All right, welcome back to There's Always a Song. My name is Brent Buchanan, and as promised, there's always a song. And we're going to go right now to Reg Gallant, and Reg Gallant is going to do an original song called Now and Then.
A stolen glance and then a smile. We see each other once in a while. We're such good friends, or so they think. They never see us out for drinks. They can't recall a moment when the two of us, we were never friends. I'd love to tell them so. What they don't know is that we're lovers now and then. Now and then, and once in a while, I'd long to kiss your pretty smile. Well, now and then, and maybe someday, we could have it all our way. Well, now and then, and somewhere in time, Lord knows I want you to be mine. Oh, but until then, we'll just pretend, and we'll be lovers now and then. The years will pass and time will fly. My love for you just won't ever die. And if we never love again, won't you please remember when the first time I ever held you near? Oh, and I whispered in your ear, we'll just pretend that we're good friends, and we'll be lovers now and then. Now and then, and once in a while, I long to kiss your pretty smile. Now and then, and maybe someday, we could have it all our way. Now and then, and somewhere in time, Lord knows I want you to be mine. Oh, but until then, we'll just pretend, and we'll be lovers now and then. Now and then, and once in a while, I long to kiss your pretty smile. Now and then, and maybe someday, Well, we can have it all our way. Now and then and somewhere in time, Lord knows I want you to be mine. Oh, but until then, we'll just pretend, and we'll be lovers now and then. Oh, but until then, we'll just pretend, and we'll be lovers now and then.
All right, thank you very much. That is Reg Gallant, and an original song by Reg Gallant, a song called Now and Then. There's always a song. My name is Brent Buchanan from Pure Country here in Fredericton. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will be back again next week. If you know someone that would like to be on the show that has original material, love to hear from you. You can find me on Facebook.